Hello everyone, it's Farket here, and in this video I'm going to cover the custom building system in Sons of the Forest and show you every piece that you can actually make. I guess it's to determine whether the building is really custom or it's just a complicated way of making blueprints. So first you've got the inverted corner pieces. It's surprising how many games don't have this, so it's good that Sons of the Forest does have it. Now most pieces come in fours because you got quarter, half, 3/4 and 4, but then there's this other one here which is like an extension with a quarter on top, and you can do this with quite a few of them. So that's 5 there. Next is the normal corner, and this has 5 as well that you can make. Notice I had to put this on here. It's the only way to make it because when you have a quarter it needs an extra piece for it to work. Next is just a standard ramp or roof. Now this has 5 as well. It's the same thing, quarter, half, 3/4 full, and then another quarter on top of the full. Next is the parts that would go in the section of the roof, which is basically filling in the gap. There's 5 of them as well, same thing. Next is just a standard floor or roof, which is flat, and there's 4 of them, or technically 5. Now, I'm not sure whether to include something like this. Just because it can be done, I don't know if it should be counted. And I'm going to run into a few of these. But I could possibly see use for this, I'm just not thinking of it. And same with the other ones. You get things like this. Never build them 3/4 because AI can't proceed through them, but they think they can. Doesn't appear that they can go through it, but I don't know if it would stop them from trying. So I'm going to include these 5, I think they count. These 3 are a bit on the fence. Next is just your wall. All of these need to be included because they can be used to adjust the height of a house and such. So that's an extra 4. Okay, next is the door. Obviously, that's going to count. Same with the window. You can have it with or without these little shutter things here. I'm going to just count that as one structure. And then you've got the elevated. These are really cool to build. It's one of my favorite pieces, but it's not in blueprint form that you can automatically place. I think it should be, because usually you've got to make a whole tower just to attach this little piece here. Next is fences. These are actually fences. You can't build anything on top of them. They act like a fence. You don't need to have a foundation underneath them. So there's 2 there. This one is actually a ramp that goes onto the floor. If you remove this piece here, it's actually a, what's it called? Like a ramp that goes lower to the floor without the lip. So you should be able to walk on top of it. Normally you'd place a piece on the end and then you could do that. But this is that, and I think that counts as a building piece. Just so you know, it doesn't have any grass culling, so kind of looks like crap. As you can see, we're getting into more complicated pieces. This is a ceiling piece that's had its section cut out to allow a ramp or a stairs to come up here. I haven't actually included stairs. So stairs is like this, but you right click and it turns into a stair like this. The reason I've not added it is that there's this bug in the game that slows your movement speed. So if I run up it, oh, that's not too bad. It slows you down, and it's been in the game ever since the game release. So if I go to a ramp, I'll just glide up it, providing I don't get stuck on the piece down here. Now, you can make 5 different variations of this, so I'm going to include it, but at this point in the game, they are not recommended. You're better off using a ramp. It's unfortunate, really, because they look better as stairs, but ramps just work so much better. See, the speed is like double. Anyway, that's enough for that, so I'll include that as another 5. This allows for an easy second floor. You can't have a beam across there, by the way. You'll block your head on it. Next is, I guess, a hole in the roof so you can have a climbing rope. Cool idea, not very practical. If you're wondering how to cut these sections out, you just get your axe out and it shows you. That still counts. Now this is a semi-complicated one, but this is just a rope bridge with full-length planks on it. I'm talking about the rope bridge itself. Now technically, so you can use any size. Whether to count that as 1 with just different variations or 3. I'm going to class it as 3 because they definitely have different uses. Now this is a semi-complicated one, but it's the same variation of the same thing. But what it basically means is that you can place a ramp against the wall without needing the piece going down. You just need it on one side like here. Oh, it's stuck on stair mode. So this would technically be 5, but I think I might be getting convoluted. Okay, so you can't do it on such as corner roofs and that sort of stuff. That makes sense. I guess I will count it as another 5, but is it a ramp or a special structure, you know? I don't know. And you can do it like this, like half walls and stuff. I don't know whether to include that either. You can do it quarter, 3/4, etc. I'm going to give it this 5 and then another 5 for the stairs. I guess it's up to interpretation as well. Next is your little centerpieces that you can make. And you can make these in different ways, but from what I can tell, this is about the only viable way without them starting to look like crap. Because you have logs sticking out. So there's 5 here. These are expensive to make because you need to make them on both sides for it to work. So you can't just have a beam going across the middle. This is it. And as you can see, you can make them at different heights, but I don't know why you would do that because it looks kind of crap. And I'm not going to include this one, but this is my attempt at seeing if I could get a rope to hang off the middle of a thing, but it just looks like crap and it doesn't work. So you can't have beams going through the middle like that. Just doesn't work. So I don't know what the tally was because I wasn't keeping count, but you might think that some count that don't. This was my original attempt over here, but I decided to make it more organized and also so I could calculate things. So there's things like this. You can do it, but what purpose does that serve? You've got this. I'm going to include this one. This is so like you can make big areas without having to use pillars to hold everything up. Maybe this one as well because it's got ropes on the outside. That's an example of one that doesn't really work, but you can do it. I never included 3/4 logs as walls because I don't think this has a viable use, and I stand by that. Lips on the structures. I think that counts. I'll include that as one. So that is it. I can't think of any more of these kind of structures that you could make that would be counted as a blueprint. So I think Sons of the Forest has this thing where you're really actually just building with blocks and blueprints like pretty much every other game. It's just I guess a free way of doing it or a more complicated way. I do appreciate that Endnight put the effort in to make it work, but I feel it's the same thing with extra steps. It's cool when you first start, but it becomes tedious, especially when you go on second stories, because then you got to start doing parkour, jumping around, building. I find that really unrealistic, and it's just not that fun, I found. I didn't include stone structures because logs can do the same as stone, except stone is much more limited in what you can do with it. It's very restricted for some reason. I don't really know why. Sons of the Forest just went and did the same building system as every other game. I think they've done that, but just made the process a little bit more hands-on. Though without a build menu and you placing logs one at a time and such, I think they're going to be very restricted without a build menu, but I don't think they're going to do that. I spent a lot of time trying to make it so you could do that in the real world without having to open up another menu. A good example of a build menu is like Fallout 4, where it changes a lot of the buttons and you can do different things because you've got more controls. You're not limited by the game's normal playing system. They definitely could have done away with custom building and just had everything as a blueprint though, because this is the same as any other game. Most games actually have way more blueprints than this. I don't know what it come up to. It's probably around 50 or 60, but it is what Sons of the Forest is. I am disappointed because the building is so much more strict than the forest was. Every structure can be replicated very easily. It's very identical. It's a very strict building system I've found, and it's very buggy with how it's implemented. If they had just went with blueprints of these, I think they would have saved a lot of bug reports and stuff, but they're trying something new. Has it worked? In my opinion, no. But that's me. Anyway, that's enough rambling for now. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers.